It is Wednesday, hump day. You know what that means, right? We're almost over the hump. We're getting close to the weekend. And I'm just always excited about the weekend. Aren't we all? Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. It is Wellness Wednesdays in the Straight Talk studio, and we are talking to the Department of Children and Family Services this afternoon. And of course, trying to find out what's happening this month. It is the month of the elderly, I do believe, and that is what we're talking about, all the activities that we'll be doing for our wonderful senior citizens in our community. So I'd like to just introduce our first guest. We got some riders who bus a little late, but they'll catch up. For now, we have the director herself, the director of the Department of Children and Family Services. That's Ms. Paulinda Mendoza Williams. And let's chat with her. Good afternoon and welcome to Straight Talk, Miss Paulinda. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good afternoon, Catherine, and to the listening public. Thanks for having us on Straight Talk this afternoon. And we're always excited about Older Persons Month, but just to share that we're not only excited about Older Persons Month, it's throughout the year we support our elderly and ensure that we advocate and that they are at the forefront when we're advocating for necessary resources to support their needs.
Well, there you go. And I think, we can't speak enough about how much we owe them, you know? And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, so here's the time for us to at least honor
So,
them.
so this year's theme under the guidance of the United Nations, it is digital equity for all ages, and the department added a bit onto that theme, and we have connect, create, and contribute as some keywords when we're thinking about our seniors and the use of digital devices.
All right, connect, create, and
Contribute.
contribute. All right, good stuff.
So we certainly have a month of activities planned, but again, noting the landscape that we noting the landscape that we're experiencing with COVID-19 and what that pandemic is doing to us, making sure that we have certain safety protocols in place, which also means that we have limited numbers at our indoor and outdoor activities. So we are planning and we have planned various activities throughout the month for seniors to participate in, keeping in mind that we want to ensure their safety and observance with the regulations that have been put forward.
All right, so what are some of those things that we're doing this month, right? And what have you done already? So let's talk about what because you've done some things already.
So, thus far, of course, we normally start the month with a church service celebrating our seniors, but also asking the blessings on them as they continue to age and be in our presence and contribute to our community. We had our church service at Savannah United, which was, I believe, it was week before last. My dates are correct. Anyway, so we had our church service, and we also have a series of workshops planned throughout the month that speak to the theme of digital equity for all ages, where we're promoting workshops that will help seniors know how to use their devices better and more efficiently. And I say better because some of our seniors do know how to use their smartphones,
Right.
their tablets, they're downloading apps, they're on Facebook, they're on WhatsApp, but just enhancing those skills and also looking to support those that who may not be as tech savvy. And the reality is, it's not only our seniors that may have a little challenge with their smart devices.
Right.
I certainly do. I'm still asking my son, how do you do this? What do I do with this app? Stuff like that. But
Right.
just wanting to ensure that they remain connected, they remain current, and also using some of these apps to support a healthy life. We have apps that have come out that speak to, tracking your heartbeat, blood pressure, safety. If you fall, you're able to press a ping or an app that will
Right.
get the police or EMTs, stuff like that. So
Very
just
cool.
trying to ensure that they familiarize themselves with what's out there. Particularly during this time, COVID has certainly um, caused us to change the way we do business, change the way we live, how we socialize with each other, and particularly last year when we were in lockdown, one of the initiatives was definitely supporting our seniors, getting them on the WhatsApp group chats, being able to Skype, Zoom, and stay connected with their family and the wider community because they were being kept informed, having those devices
Right.
just to know what was happening.
Right. I mean, that's great. Sometimes I wonder if someone can take my mom's phone from her because she's on Facebook and commenting on everything. I said, "What are you doing?" She's, I'm working on my speech." I said, "It's not a speech." It's so cute though. It's adorable because she loves that. She's very connected, and it's that socialization that's so necessary for them. So just hearing you talk about that, I think that's really awesome.
Absolutely. And as I said, COVID-19 has certainly propelled us to be able to know how to manipulate and use our smart devices
Yes.
and keep them connected because, of course, they are categorized, particularly now, as one of the more vulnerable groups. So we don't want them to be isolated, not to have the ability to reach out to family, friends, know what's happening in the community, because that's another thing. Uh, the news. They're able to get worldwide news. They can get local news.
Right.
So it's really, really important that they're not disenfranchised.
Yes.
And actually, stats show globally from a UN report that women and elderly are those that are more disenfranchised and not able to connect using those smartphones and being digitally connected. So we have to ensure that we are making sure the playing field is level for them to also be able to know how to connect and use such devices because it's only going to evolve even further. We
Right.
are in an age where this is it. This is really what it's going to be about.
Right.
And if we're not, encouraging them and supporting them, carrying them along, then we're going to lose a particular big population of persons who will not be connected, and we don't want that.
Right. And we're not empowering them, right? In just technology and the way forward. So yeah, I think that's a really great idea. I'm sure some young person came up with that.
Well,
Which is why we need us all.
this is how I look at the whole digital world and the evolution of it. Our seniors in their younger days, they have contributed globally and locally to the evolution of where we are today. Back in the day, we went from washboards and wash pans to a washing machine and a dryer.
Right.
We went from the call box to the rotary telephone to remember those big old cell phones that
Right.
weighed a ton. Then we
Right.
had the beeper. And of course, they all contributed to that. That's how we are now where we're at because they set the foundation
Right.
for the move into where we currently can say Siri call such and such. Siri, what's this?
Right.
Alexis, do that.
Right. Yeah, I remember when I'd be excited just to hear the phone ring in the house. We got a phone. I was like, "It's ringing!" And then we got a cordless. That was the thing.
Yep,
I could walk
absolutely.
outside.
Absolutely.
Oh gosh, isn't that something? Just to think how far we've come and how the technology has really advanced, which is amazing.
It is. It is. Remember our Aunt Christine, Cable and Wireless.
Right?
If we wanted to make an overseas call, she was the voice that we
You know how many
got.
times I would catch her like eyes and she'd be like, "What are you doing?" You okay? I'm like, "Oh goodness."
Yeah, it's truly amazing, and they truly set the foundation for where we're at today. So it is our responsibility to carry them along
Right.
now, to be able to access and use these devices. But back to some of the other activities that we have planned. So yes, the focus is on familiarizing them or just getting them to feel comfortable using these devices. But we also have fun stuff. So we have had a boat cruise.
Was that
That was
yesterday?
yesterday. So
What
we
was
had,
that? Because someone told me about it. I visited a senior citizen today, a stalwart of the community, and I just went and sat with her. And she was saying, I went on a boat cruise yesterday, and that was so much fun. And I'm like, how come I didn't hear about
yes,
that?
they did. I wanted to go myself, but sorry, I wasn't able to make it. But they went on a boat cruise and had a fabulous time.
Was that a particular district or
No,
was
it
it?
was open. So
Okay.
again, there are some activities that are specific to the districts, but then we also have stuff that are for the entire community, but they have to um, reserve their space because of limited numbers.
Okay.
So then we had the East End Sunrise Breakfast, which was beautiful, and thanks to Moritz for again hosting that breakfast last week Thursday. Well attended. The seniors had a wonderful time.
Nice.
We also tomorrow is going to be a picnic in Northside,
Okay.
so that's another fun event.
Are these like closed events though, just for the seniors, or can anybody go, or how does that work?
So
And the reason I'm asking you is because I know that a lot of people want to be involved in things that's happening around Ireland for young people, for the elderly, but they say they don't know about these things. So I just want to know, like, how can they find out about things that they could be, involved in, and how would you like them to help?
So, particularly for this month, and again, the climate that we're in, we are observing the safety protocols.
Right.
So, we want to cater to our older persons. However, we know that some older persons will either have to come with a caregiver
Right.
or a family member. So, again, we're encouraging if you're interested in an event to reach out to the department 949-0290. And I know that our community development officers and our elderly services team are in contact with the various communities, the various districts, churches, etc.,
Okay.
for people to reserve their spot.
Right.
So, to your question, whilst we would encourage that if we were in normal settings,
Right.
at this juncture, no, we're keeping the numbers restricted
Okay.
for safety purposes, but also acknowledging that there may be some seniors who may have to come with someone who's really not a senior.
Okay.
We have had events that were intergenerational. Again, we pull that back
Right.
this year, again, because of our COVID-19 community spread.
Right.
So we are just being very cautious
Right.
and ensuring that we're not violating any of those
Right.
measures.
But if you know of a senior that might want to come to something, like just call the department as well.
Yeah, just call the department to find out if there's space available, and we can take it from there. As I said earlier, whilst we acknowledge the month and celebrate throughout the year, there are activities that we do support. We either put them on ourselves or we co-facilitate with other agencies.
Okay.
So that is opportunity for persons to either volunteer or if they are so interested to come out and either be a part of the event, but please be mindful. First and foremost, preference is given to our older persons because that's who we're catering to. So we don't want something that's for our seniors that we have persons who really don't fall into that category.
Right. Right. Okay. All right. So that's exciting. So they had a boat cruise, and so there's a picnic coming up.
Yes, there's a picnic tomorrow, a Northside picnic. There are actually two picnics in Northside, so they get the ability to enjoy that. There's also an event from Borden Town, Kim and Bra, and Little Cayman. This weekend, Little Cayman is having their social and church service, and then the following weekend, Little Cayman, Kim and Bra is having their picnic and the church service. As a matter of fact, the event for Little Cayman is an intergenerational event this upcoming Saturday.
Okay, because I was going to ask about Little Cayman. I've not heard too much about Little Cayman's activities because Little Cayman has been that place that was, didn't have a whole lot of people, but now you're at that point where you have more people that you can kind of cater to the senior citizen community.
Absolutely.
That's
So,
great.
in terms of when we had a smaller population of seniors in the Cayman, we would bring them over to the BRAC. But again, just being mindful that you want to be able to have activities in their own environment, in their own community, to get the support of the other community members as well. So we've tried over the last few years to ensure we are including activities for Little Cayman as opposed to having them travel to the other islands to support that.
Right. The thing about it, I'm so glad that you joined me this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really like to catch up with DCFS. Obviously, it's my heart. It's kind of where where I started. You and I actually started the same day,
Yes,
1998, a
yes, we
sunny, beautiful day in July 1988, I think. And so it's so really just beautiful to see you're still there and you're the director now. I'm so proud of that. I'm so, just excited. I know it's in good hands. And I just feel it's family, right? And I look at all of the dimensions of work that you do at CCFS, me being a social worker, my profession anyway, knowing the depth of work, and it's just thinking of these types of things and how much fun they sound like, because a lot of the work is not so much fun.
yeah,
Some of it can be very challenging, and some of it, you're getting in the middle of people's lives and you're trying to help and you're making sure that you're taking care of vulnerable people. But then you have these moments, which is amazing, and I really, really love that. So I really wanted you to come on today because on Wednesday we really try to talk about wellness, and we talk about our health and our mental health, our emotional health, taking care of our communities and our society, because that's really at the heart of our success, right? And
absolutely.
so this particular month that we're shining a light on the elderly, I think senior citizens is just amazing because this is our foundation.
Certainly is. There are historians, our teachers, our grandparents, great grandparents. Again, as we said, they have laid the foundation for this
Yes,
country we call home, and it is our responsibility to ensure that they age gracefully,
right,
that they age with dignity, that we ensure that whatever it is that they need to live out the rest of their years, they do so, and those services are provided.
right.
You speak about the social work practice. One of the things that was brought on board about 2 years ago was our elderly services team. And what I would like the listening public to understand is our elderly services team is responsible for case management and social work interventions for our elderly, meaning that we're out there ensuring that case management services are being provided to them. If there is a need for a referral or advocacy, or just to ensure that there's social justice for our seniors, that is what that team does. We
Right,
are responsible to support our seniors, provide the needed resources for them
right.
through referrals, however that may look. Unfortunately, in our community, there is a lot of elderly abuse, and we are the ones that quickly respond and try our best to ensure that our seniors do not have to live in an environment where they are being abused in any form.
And that's great. I mean, to just safeguard, their just their well-being and everything else. So I'm really glad that that's kind of a new thing. It's that's happening at UCFS because it did need a focus. I was talking about the senior citizen that I was sitting with today, the young lady, I'll call her. She's 78, she's gonna be 79, and she was busy doing like one of those I think it used to be a bedspread, she said, with all the cut up cloth and around it, and she was putting it, and she was just the whole time that I was visiting with her, she was doing that, and I said, this is your job, like when you're gonna knock off work, and she was just putting her all into it, and I just thought that's interesting because even though I said that in jest, that she was really concentrating, putting everything into it. It was coming out as this beautiful item, and I think, a lot of times we're losing things like that, and we need our young people to know our history. We need to continue to see that because I think in every stage of our life, obviously, we're at different places, but we need to know our purpose and have a purpose wherever we are. So I really appreciated, seeing that today. And I joke about taking my mom's phone, and then I also tell like my children who are adults, it's her job. It's grandma's job to send these videos to us, to
Mhm.
send these messages. That's her job. And she's like, I think you're right. I believe this is my job. So every morning we'll get like 10 videos or 10 messages and stuff. And so I really believe it's so important for us to just keep kind of the fire burning, right? And the quality of life is so important no matter what stage you're
No
on.
matter what stage.
Yeah.
Not only are we promoting the use of our digital devices, but we're also partnering with our cybersecurity entity at CIG, where we're promoting cyber safety because we know we've seen the scams. We get the WhatsApp saying, "Oh, I need top up on my card," or "Can you call me?" Or you have won $1 million. I just need your bank account, etc.
Right.
And a lot of our older persons globally and possibly locally, they are also victims of some of those fraudulent
Right.
activities, asking for money or
Yeah.
just asking for personal information. And we know that once you give out that information, then that sets a trickle down of what comes next.
Right. And funny enough, if they fall for stuff like that, it's because they're trying to get it for their people. You know, like, I know my daughter could use that money. You know
Yes,
what I mean? It's
yes.
never about them. It's always about, how do I help
Help.
my younger ones? And so that's so true. It's something that I hadn't even realized that they'd kind of be victims of it as well. Now we have been joined. So please tell us who just rolled in on the late bus. Please, come on,
Good
introduce
evening,
her.
everyone.
Go ahead.
This is Lloyd Kellerman, Social Work Manager for Community Development.
Okay, hello. Hello. Yeah, we were talking about the buses running a little bit late, but you had to direct because she was holding it down for you.
She is a good director. She does what she needs to do when she needs to do it.
Good stuff. All right. So, so we're just talking about this is the month of, what is it officially called?
Older persons.
The Older Persons Month. And all of the activities that you have planned. So what are some of the things that when you were brought on to do this particular job, or this is something that you kind of morphed into? Because they're more, they'll morph you in anything. Don't worry, she has plans for you.
Yes, I have walked into quite a few things at the Department of Social Services. Oops.
Department of
Department of
Children
Children
and
and
Even
Family
I knew
Services.
that.
Yeah, it was social services when I was there years ago, so I have returned. Um, but really, I have been working with Older Persons Month last year and this year, and coordinating all the activities for the month, in addition to all my other duties. But anyway, but it's fun, and it's good to be able to celebrate the entire month and not just, I'm sure, Paulina had talked about the International Day of Older Persons, and we stretch it into a month.
That's awesome.
And it's really good because it gives us more time to really do some special things for older persons and to put more focus on older persons. Of course, through the unit that Ms. Paulina just spoke about, the Elderly Services Unit, try to put focus on older persons and the concerns and the issues and the challenges they have throughout the year. But this gives us time to do some other special things.
Good stuff. Now, I'm looking forward to when you put together the month of the middle-aged woman who's exhausted and just worked to no. I think we can all agree. We can all be a part of that.
That's International Women's Month.
Let's get a date in there somewhere. It's really true. I mean, I know I see you guys. You're out there working. You're in every area of the lifespan, right? And that's what social work is, right? It's from what is it from birth to the cradle or cradle to the grave. Cradle to the grave, exactly. And so yeah, so this is just one of those exciting ones that bring you some joy.
Yes, definitely. Just to also add that we are now under the Ministry of Investment, Innovation, and Social Development. And there's lots happening behind the scenes to ensure that we are reviewing the legislation for older persons as well as the older persons policy to capture again any needed reforms, transformations, services to support our seniors as we continue as a country to grow and evolve for our seniors. So that is something that both our minister and the chief officer and minister team working on collaboratively with the department and other relevant agencies along with non-governmental entities to carry us forward into the future with the strategies and policies to support our seniors.
Okay. Do the seniors get to go to the governor's house this year? I know that's they do that. That's been something that you used to do annually, and they love that. That was a big thing for them.
Yes, it is. It is something that they look forward to. Unfortunately, this year, because of the transmissions that started again.
Okay.
We had a whole um, lot of activities planned, but we've had to change some of them, and that was one of them that we changed.
Okay.
We are now just probably starting to get back up because one of the things we also did was to put a halt on our regular activities. So we have senior fellowships going on in every district, and we meet either some of them meet weekly, some meet every other week, some meet once a month, but we have put a halt on that. We are now just starting that back again, as well as including the activities that we would do for November, for October. Usually, actually, for October, when we do, because we do so much in October, we stop the regular fellowship meetings, but we are starting those back up again as well.
Okay.
Um, so yes, what we did this year is just trying to change, and we had to do this last year as well. Change the activity somewhat, maybe the format, um, to include the COVID regulations.
Right.
So looking at social distancing, looking at probably activities that are more outdoors, so it's
Right.
wider space and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. Um, Doing smaller numbers and probably that meant probably a little more activity, but smaller numbers for those activities.
Yeah, because we want to also recognize, I think, that so many times we're not talking about the lack of during this pandemic. So you know what I mean, like the lack of the socialization, the lack of attention, and so that's also a form of trauma too, right? So we want to ensure that we're balancing that out, that the fear is kind of taken over, and then especially our vulnerable populations to be left alone and I mean,
And
it's a catch
they
22.
still need to, they still want to get out. Of course, they're cautious, and as long as they know that we're taking the precautions, they're okay.
Yeah.
So today, for example, I spent a little time with the West Bay seniors from West Bay doing their what we call creative mind session, and I was smiling when I'm saying to them, "Oh my goodness, you're ahead of me," because they were there painting Christmas ornaments,
Okay.
right? And they were really
Wow.
excited
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
And they had some glass bottles that had thrown paint over and used their different colors and stuff. It was really really creative. So they're going to get those glazed, and then they'll get them to use. But they're looking forward to receiving their finished products next week.
Nice. All
But,
right.
and they had a really great time.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you all so much for joining me this afternoon. DCFS, always love to have you in the house. We're going to come back and chat a little bit more about, some of the things that you have planned, and also to talk to people about, what they could do, to kind of help out, or
Yes.
to make the load a little less, or just be a part of the community. This is your Straight Talk Drive at 5 show. I'm Catherine Tyson, your host, and we'll be back with more messages, with more right after these messages. So just stay tuned.
So what
You can finish off your notes, we just look at what we have.
And welcome back to Straight Talk. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Catherine Tyson, this is your Drive at 5 show. It is Hump Day, it's Wednesday, it is Wellness Wednesday. And Wellness Wednesday, what we do is we really try to talk about our health and our well being. And today I just thought it was very fitting to bring the Department of Children and Family Services in to discuss the Older Persons Month. Because I mean, every one of us, we really deserve to be okay, to be uh, you know, attention paid to, and to be taken care of, and especially our older persons, our senior citizens in the community, because we would not be here if it were not for them. So we can never lose sight of that. So thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Of course, you can call 943-3700. I know you won't, because you generally don't, but if you wanted to, you could, 943-3700. Paulinda Mendoza Williams, who is the Director of the Department of Children and Family Services, and Ms. Gloria Kellerman, who is the Community Development, so the social work manager, and she's also in charge of the elderly chief, the head bottle cook, what I say, bottle washer.
I must say publicly that for the last few months, Loy has certainly supported both community development and
Right.
the elderly services team and has done a phenomenal job. So I just want to publicly say thank you for all the hard work and commitment that she's put into organizing Older Persons Month, her and her team.
Yeah, because I know the last time you came, you were attached to community development somehow, right? I believe so.
She still is. She still
Okay.
is. She still is.
That's why I'm just trying to say, okay, I thought that's what, when I
Yeah,
talked to you.
she was
but
providing support for the elderly services team.
Okay,
Their manager was out of office for some time. So
okay, all right. Okay, and so now, yeah, so it's just kind of natural for you to continue with that support, yeah? Okay. And so what are some of the things, you talked about the things that you have planned, that you're doing, and then also just talk to us about, this, what we have in store for us, or what you'd like the public to know.
Okay. So I'm sure Paulinda talked about the workshops that we're doing for the digital equity.
Right,
And we still have those going on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, this week and next week, 10 o'clock, goes to about 11 or 11:30.
okay,
But I would like to really, really push that people come to that. Just call us and let us know that you want to attend, because the persons who are running those workshops are very knowledgeable and they're very patient and kind.
okay, okay,
And so persons who attend get one-to-one service. It's like I have my telephone guru right here with me, and they can show me things, and I
Okay.
can ask questions, and nothing is
okay.
taboo.
And,
Right?
and
So
where are the workshops
the
being held?
workshops are held at OPAC, which is the Older Persons Active Aging Center,
Okay,
and that's right behind Foster's.
right, so
Foster's Airport.
that's newly opened as well, right?
That's newly opened as
Okay.
well. However, they need to call either their community development officer once they know who those are. And I can just say there are for Georgetown, it's Dorleen Welcome. For West Bay, it's Vanda Powry. For Town, it's Carol Bodden. Pat Hanlon, who is a social worker, is covering, doing a great job covering North Side.
Nice.
Delmira Bodden is for East End. Julianne Scott is for Cayman Brac. And
and she covers Little Cayman.
and she
Okay.
right, the sister islands.
Okay,
And but they can just call the Department of Children and Family Services and just say they're interested in this, and we will book them.
okay,
Right.
all right,
But
great.
another thing that's exciting that's coming up is, and this is for all seniors throughout the three islands, is our trivia, what we call digital trivia. So
Okay,
they use their phones. They'll once they register with us, they will get the trivia questions sent to them by WhatsApp, and then they need to send in their answers. We did a scavenger hunt last week,
okay.
and it was just amazing.
Where was
Um,
that done?
Digital.
Oh, okay.
It was yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
digital scavenger hunt.
Okay,
So we sent them the list of what they were to get when time started,
and it was
and they had
successful?
it was successful. It was
Wow.
really great. I
Okay.
can tell you, one of the comments that came back was from um, one lady said, Oh, she says, I've had so much fun this evening. I've never had so much fun doing this. And my she says, and my children just had fun too because they enjoyed watching me running around
All right,
trying
trying
to
to
find
find
these
things.
things.
Okay.
And we do these in the evening at 6:30 so that older persons can have their families assist them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
So
So it's a family
it's a
affair.
family affair,
Nice,
but
nice.
it's really good.
All right.
So I would encourage everybody to join in on that. We do have prizes, and that's next Tuesday at 6:30. But again, call
You have
call
to
the
register
department.
first.
Right, call the
Okay.
department and register. Um, we do have for North Side. There's one event tomorrow. That's picnic. So for the North Side seniors are doing having a picnic tomorrow, and they have a fish fry next Thursday. There's a Circle of Love breakfast at the Circle of Love group are sponsoring for us, and they do this. They work with us. They've been working with us through the years, and we really appreciate the work that they do um, with us on this event.
Okay.
Again, all of these events, because of the COVID restrictions, and we want to make sure that we contain our numbers. We're asking anything you think that you want, and if you, as an older person or as a family member of an older person, if you can't remember the things we do, just call the department and ask what's going on,
Okay.
and we will tell you, and you can just register either yourself or your older family members.
Okay.
The
All right.
month's calendar is on our Facebook page, so
Okay.
if persons again
CCFS,
using
CCFS has a
CCFS
Facebook. Since when? I'm excited. I'm so excited for you. It's showing off. What's it called?
Department of Children and Family Services.
All
So just go
right.
on Cayman Islands and you will see the try our best to
Updating.
keep it updated and current. And we do have the calendar.
Well, I gotta go
on it.
like the page. I didn't even
Yes,
know
you
it
do.
happened.
Go like the page. Go
Good
like the page.
stuff.
Lots of beautiful pictures.
And then we do have events in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. So there's a picnic in Little Cayman this weekend coming up on Saturday. There's a church service. Um, and then the following week, there are island tours of Cayman Brac. There's also a picnic in the park that's going to be coming up. So
Nice.
again, Cayman Brac, Sister Islands, call the DCFS office in Cayman Brac or call Julianne Scott, and let her know that you want to go and you want to attend these things.
Nice, nice. All right. Well, I'm excited. I mean, it's a lot of good things happening, and and so they could just reach out to the department to via phone
Nine
number
four
again.
nine 0290.
All right, or go on the Facebook page.
Or go on the page.
That's where all the updated stuff is.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
Well,
Catherine,
yeah.
there's something else that I want to talk about, and
Okay.
it's the ambassadors.
Okay.
So every year for Older Persons Month, the department looks at older persons and the service that they have provided to the country, to their community or district or the country in a whole, um, and the work that they have done with older persons as well. And using certain criteria, we choose someone or a number of them to become ambassadors. And of course, we will call them and let them know that we're planning to nominate them, if they accept the nomination or not. Some are so busy, they say, oh, we're just too busy because they're so busy in their community
I
service
tell you.
work,
Yeah.
which is great, which is great. But this year, we have 5 ambassadors across between the Sister Islands and Grand Cayman. We have Mr. Denison Tibbet. Um, he's from Georgetown, and he's currently, many people know him. He's currently president of the Seafarers Association. He's a lifetime member of Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and he has served older persons, done a lot of community work through these organizations and on his own
Right.
For older persons.
Right.
We also have Mr. Dale Ramon, who is chairperson of the Central Scranton Community Committee. And I must say, when Dale's name first came up, I'm like, you don't reach that age yet.
Right?
I
When
thought
did
I thought the same
when
thing.
did that
When did
happen?
that happen?
Yeah, and I'm like, really? I grew up with there. No, he not reached that age yet.
That's so true.
um, but he too has done a lot of community service, um, and done a lot of work with older persons and younger persons as well. And so again, this is an opportunity to recognize him for the work he has done and continues to do. So even these older persons that we have nominated or have been selected as ambassadors continue, even though they're older persons now themselves, they continue to do a lot of work in the community.
Okay. All right.
We have Miss Alice Maycope of West Bay.
Right.
She's actually the deputy chairperson for the Council of Older Persons. But everybody knows Miss Alice. She never stops working,
Right.
right?
Right.
And she's done tons of community work through the years.
A very strong social advocate.
Right. Right. She used to be at the Young Parents Program. No. Okay.
And then we have Mr. George Walton and his wife, Lynn Walton of Cayman Brac.
Okay.
And they again do a lot of volunteer service, a lot of just contributions to the community and working along with persons in the community. I mean, Miss Lynn, she goes in and she reads for the younger children at school and that sort of thing. So the ambassadors, like I said, we chose them for the work that they've done,
Right.
but also to recognize the work they continue to do and to encourage other people, um, maybe some of us younger ones that the older ones are still doing.
Right. Right.
They've done so much, but they're still doing, and to really show that as even though you're older, there's still so much that you can
Of
contribute,
course. Of course.
and we should not overlook that.
Right.
Sometimes I feel that we kind of push them aside
Right.
and we don't really recognize that they still have a lot to contribute.
Right.
We're not going to make them work long hours like we do.
Right. Right.
But there's still so much that we can use them for,
Yeah.
or they can, and so much benefit and value that they can give back to our community.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think it's important to keep, to keep that in mind and to just continue to keep people active and moving. As long as we're blessed with life, like let's keep living.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I had the privilege to attend Victory Tabernacle's older persons church service on Sunday, and the sermon was delivered by one of their female ministers, who is an older person herself. And looking at that young woman, she does not look anywhere near an older person.
Right.
And the key message in the service was, "Let your light shine." And I think that's something that we certainly want to encourage our seniors to continue to do, is to let their light shine, because they still have a lot to contribute. She talked about, mind over matter, and, don't think, oh, I got a pain in my knee or my back, and just sit there and let it fester and continue. You gotta be
I mean,
mind
I
over
got
matter.
a pain in my knee, in my back, my
Well,
hip now, but you keep moving. You keep
exactly.
moving.
And her message was, God created you no matter what age, let your light shine.
That's
And
right.
definitely, we want our seniors to continue to let their light shine.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what was the theme you said? The theme. So there's like a worldwide theme,
Yes.
as well as you have a local theme,
Yes.
so tell us that again.
So the global theme is digital equity for all ages,
All
and
right.
we added on connect, create, contribute. And of
Yeah.
course, connect is that we're encouraging everyone to remain connected, particularly with our seniors, but also for our seniors to be connected with their family, friends, and the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Create is also creating an environment where they do not feel that they're disenfranchised, and we're not looking to support them and have them remain connected. And of course, contribute is that, again, let their light shine. They have a lot to contribute in terms of the digital world by being on board with the various social media pages, the apps that promote health and wellness, that promote safety for them. So again, definitely circling back to what the overall theme is with
Right.
those three words.
Okay. So I hear that you're doing a lot of things for them, which is great. I hear that there's lots of activities, which is awesome. But I'm wondering, how are the ways that you're able to utilize them in order for them to also serve them? You know what I mean? Like is that call kind of out there? You know, we always talk about our history and who's preserving it, who knows it, who's teaching it. Like those are opportunities as well because we have younger, people that don't know. I mean, my children didn't know what a guava was, and I was like, "Come here!" I was so mad. I was that day. I was so upset. I had a guava tree in the yard. It was many, many years ago, and they were like, "What's that?" And then they were talking to another Caymanian child who had Caymanian parents, but I think one parent was from Europe or something, and she didn't know what it was. And I was like, "Tell your mother I'm ashamed of both of us that you all do not know what a guava is." So I had to go down the whole list and say this is this. You know what I mean? Because it was very interesting that they said that because they had become so almost, I don't know, Americanized or whatever it was. You know, we were running in the bushes and picking guavas and hogbuns, you name it, right? So I'm wondering, are you guys creating like those kind of opportunities, or do you have that? Like I know with the OPAC right now, there might be some opportunities there.
Yes. So last year our theme was life stories then and now. And what we did, we recorded a couple older persons, videoed them, and recorded just them talking about different things.
Right.
What it was like then and what it was like, yeah, then and what it is like now.
Yeah.
This year we plan to continue, and that was one of the things we had to shift a little bit. But this year we had planned to continue, and we are going to continue capturing those stories from our older persons throughout because they have tons of stories. They tell you
Oh
all
yeah,
sorts of
they do.
things,
Mhm.
and so we plan to continue to capture that. So they have a lot to do and to give in just providing those stories and letting us be able to capture them for because like you say, I've heard my grandmother and my mother even tell me things, and then now she's gone and I'm going, what she said about that again.
Right. Right.
So luckily
Exactly.
for me, she did record a lot of that stuff.
Good.
So it's the same, and I take pride in being able and joy in being able to go back and look at it, and I've want to do that for other people as
Yeah,
well.
I think that's a
So
good idea.
so we're going to continue that. But funny you talked about OPAP because one of our classes that we were planning to do, and then because of the rise in transmissions, we stopped. But once we start back, we will do that. Was a rug making class, and it was one of our seniors who was going to teach that rug making
Good stuff.
class.
Okay.
Um, we have
I have a funny feeling, not to cut you, that that young lady that you were sitting with was the teacher.
Probably. Okay.
probably yes.
Yes.
Um, so and there are different things that we want to do with them, and throughout our fellowships and stuff, we've been talking to them about things that they would like to do, and having them do that. So we have a group, for example, who want to. They do a lot of art and craft and stuff, and they want to come have a day at OPAC, for example, where
Right.
they're able to show off their arts and craft. People can come in, see it, maybe purchase some of it or whatever. So
Right.
we're going to plan that for them.
Okay.
Earlier this year, Delmira worked with a group out in East End, and what they did, they came up with the idea that they wanted to do Easter baskets.
Right.
And so Miss Carmen um, did her thatch work and her basket work as usual, and the others baked goodies and stuff, and they filled the baskets and sold them. They were in hot demand, you
Okay.
know. So it's things like that that they can do, and obviously anything that is and any idea that they have, we want to hear it. We want to hear from them. We want to hear again what are the things that are affecting them, what are the things that are impacting them, what are the challenges they're seeing, where they think that they can make a difference, and we're going to support them to do just that.
That's good.
Circling back to the discussion about capturing their stories and the history that they have, um, using our theme, connect, create, and contribute, along with the fact that our digital devices can now record. So rather than them having to write, um,
Right.
these memoirs and stories and historical events,
Right.
it's also being able to show them how they can download the recording app and speak their story into that, and it's captured that way. And you know, we can compile, we can now keep that as a file in our archives, in our libraries,
Yeah.
for years to come, for the generations. So again, like I said, you know, COVID has also taught us new ways of living, doing business, socializing, etc. But it's certainly propelling us to be more tech savvy and utilize devices that will make us work smarter, not harder. And this is something that our seniors, you know, it's important for us to show them how to do that,
Yeah.
so we can learn from their experiences by
Yeah.
the recordings.
For sure. I mean, I'm just getting an idea as you're talking to just go to some older person's houses and just videotape them. You know, just not the word, to record them.
Yes.
Thank you for the word now. I need to go to the classes about it. But to record them making rundown. You know, making cassava cake, making peppermint candy, like literally, you know, and
Yes.
just have that. I think that would be awesome. I'd get some food too, 'cause, you know, right? Making coconut oil, like all this stuff that, you know, are a part of our history.
Yes.
That, like you said, sometimes you don't even remember. What did you say again? How do you do this? I just think this would be amazing, and for our young people to have that would be just incredible. I think
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe
How to
we'll
make
talk.
turtle stew, how to make coconut
Exactly.
oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course.
And you're
Salt,
right.
beans, and
Record
all
it.
them things.
Record it. Videoing them doing that, because you know they don't they can't tell you really put 2 cups of this or 3 cups of that. They're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Trust
yeah,
me.
yeah.
you know, so
Exactly.
it's easier
They
to
know
watch
just how
them.
much shake and
Listen, I watched Miss Marvel from East End, Miss Marvel McLaughlin, right?
Yeah.
I watched her do like crab, you know, just like
Yeah.
fried crab or whatever. And because I was like, I'm hungry. You got some fish. Like, I know you like crab, so I got some crab. And I was like, all right, but it wasn't ready. She said, my leg been hurting, but I can tell you exactly what to put in that. And I mean, she walked around and she, you know, leaned on the counter and told me all the stuff. And she said, just leave it for a little bit and put it in. And it was just like that. And I thought it was amazing. And the dish was amazing. I don't think I'll ever be able to replicate it. But if I had recorded it, maybe it would be something that,
You could
you
go back
know,
and watch and
exactly.
see.
And now
Yes.
she's gone. And it
Yes.
would have been so amazing to just have that recording of her. You know, so I was just thinking as you were talking that would be
But
such a
even my
great
mom,
idea.
it's like, okay, it was all out of her head,
Exactly.
learning from her father
Yes.
how to cook, and
She
it
told me
was.
she had some recipes somewhere.
She has a few, but
Yeah.
like the like that fritter special, that fritter dough.
That
Do not ask
people
my
were
sister and I, because it was a special
Yeah.
technique she had in just
She put her
kneading that
toe in it.
something because there's yeah.
Yeah, and that's Karina's copper kettle. For those of you that don't know, that's who we're talking about. Everybody remember Miss Karina's fritters, Miss Karina's. Trust me, people still talk about Miss Karina's chili
Yes.
from high school. Like I'm telling you, I didn't even know about Miss Karina's chili. I remember Miss Karina's burger. Aunt Karina actually.
Yeah.
So I think these would be amazing things to do as well. But I just think just this month alone, just how special you're making the older person feel. I love that, and I feel just excited just for what you guys are doing. So I can imagine just going to these events. I remember going to them, you know, at different times, and it's just really a nice time. And like you said, Lloyd, Christmas is right around the corner, so everybody's preparing now. I can't even believe Christmas is almost here.
Yes. It's upon us.
Yes.
It's upon us.
And on a more serious note, in regards to how we care and support our seniors, we have a lot of persons, a lot of seniors who are experiencing some form of abuse at the hands of their loved ones.
Wow.
And we talk about taking a village to raise a child, but it also takes a village to care and support and ensure that our seniors live a life of dignity. So we must not forget that, when we're talking about a caring community, care mankind meant you took care of your older folks.
That is so true. That is so true. And you're right. And even I think we have to have another show to talk about
Hmm.
that, just to talk about the variations of this abuse that you're talking about, because some people don't even realize that. I know instances where you're only calling your
Hmm.
grandparent to borrow money,
Hmm.
or you're only, like you're borrowing, but you're not paying back. You know what I mean?
You're borrowing their pension,
you're taking them
their
to the
benefits.
bank
Yes.
to get their pension money, and you never call them to check on them. You never, and that's abuse.
Yes.
And they're just so happy to hear from you
Mhm.
sometimes that they fall, kind of prey to that, and they just want to help you out. And I think we definitely need to set up another time to talk about it. And this month would be great because this is the month of older persons.
Absolutely.
Ladies, anything else you want to say? Because we come to the end of the show, but whatever else you have to say, give some time for that.
Well, I just want to leave a few tips for all of us as we deal with older persons. And so it's things like, don't patronize the older people. We need to be patient with them. Sometimes, yes, they're losing their memory, or they're being a little slower, but that's just part of aging.
Right.
They were patient with us when we
Yes.
were younger,
Yes.
and so we owe it to them to be patient, to them to be polite and friendly when dealing with older persons, to have a zero tolerance for abuse,
Right.
um, and abuse in any form. So it's emotional, it's verbal, it's just leaving them alone.
Right.
Like you say, even not calling them. So call
Right.
your older persons every day just to say hi.
Right.
Yes, sometimes you call and they'll be going on a little bit on the phone, but just say hi, just checking on you.
Right.
Can't stay long. And that's something they will look forward to.
Right.
And to continue to build relationships with your older persons, get to know them and know what's happening with them.
Right.
And sometimes our older, whether it's parents or grandparents, they're going through things and they don't say it to us
Mhm.
because they don't want to
Burden.
burden
Right.
us.
Right. Right.
And I remember having to say to my mother, it's no trouble.
You're not a burden.
It's not a burden. I
Right.
need to know.
Exactly.
What is a burden is that I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But speak to them and get comfortable with them. Really get to know your older relatives as they age, because that will help you to identify, even probably before they realize what's happening, if something's going wrong with them,
Right.
it'll help you to recognize it
Right.
and give them the help they need.
Absolutely.
And just keep them in your lives. Just take them out for a walk. Yes, they may walk a little slower, but that's okay. Take it an extra 10 minutes. Take them down to the beach,
That's
even
right.
to just drive up and look out at the beach,
That's right.
or something. Find ways to spend time with them and
Yes.
make those quality moments matter.
Yes. I mean, we would not be here if it were not for them. And they have put
Exactly.
in everything into us, And I always say when people talk about, oh, well, my mom wasn't good to me or my dad wasn't good to me, I'm like, they're a different person now.
Yes.
They're a different person now. I understand and I understand pain and I understand all that stuff, but you got to get to a point where you forgive them and you move on and you realize that, you know what? They might not have done that, but they did whatever they were doing at that time in their life. They're no longer that same person. So it's your turn now. So why would you, repay some unkindness for an unkindness? So, it's really a good discussion. I think, like I said, I'd love for you all to come back and talk about that. But thank you once again for joining me, Ms. Paulinda.
I just want to send a shout out to my DCFS family. The team works extremely hard. They are a committed group of staff, both in our caring homes. Those are the ladies and gentlemen that care for our elderly and our special needs children. Our social work team, our community development officers, admin and finance, um, they certainly do a fantastic job. And their success is what keeps me going.
Yeah.
So just want to say, great job, guys. Thank you so much. Also want to acknowledge our ministry and our chief officer, Mr. Eric Bush, and our minister, Mr. Andre Ebites, our parliamentary secretary, Ms. Heather Bodden, who certainly is definitely giving the support to the department
Right.
and have been attending some of these functions. So certainly
Right.
happy to have their support.
I got 40 seconds, and I want to say thank you to you, and thank you to you, Miss Lloyd Kellerman. Thank you to you, Miss Paulinda. Thank you to you ladies that are at the top that continue to filter the stuff down that's supposed to filter down, so that everybody can be a great team. A team is no good without a great leader. So thank you all so much for what you do, your commitment to our community. This has been your Straight Talk Drive at 5 show. I'm Catherine Tyson, your host, and this is Wellness Wednesday. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with Thursday. Successful. Take care.
Cool, thank you. It always goes so quickly when you got so much to say. But yeah, I definitely think we need to come back and highlight the